Well, we're like London buses, suddenly two in a row. So here's the detoxes again, but this time we're on the eve really of the spin-off. And obviously on the Hooniverse show, Pete McTighe was giving us a few snippets of what we can expect. And immediately I thought, right, I want to know what Dwayne, Dan, and Doug, all the D's, think of this in our detox. So I'll get going, lads, and show you and see if you like my last show. You're as triggered as I was. I will say I'm willing something on here that something will be good from this era. The Disney money does make it look as though it's got good production values. It does look expensive. Doesn't have to, of course. I'm not, driven by that, but I am looking forward to it from the trailer, and I'm no fool, and I am cynical. I don't like the sound of the messaging, which I'll come to later, but I am looking forward to something that looks like a darker version of Doctor Who.
Well, I've got to say the trailer. When I saw the trailer, it looked good, but trailers have a way of being a little deceptive when it comes to the finished product. So yeah, the trailer looked okay, but Darker Doctor Who, I'm not sure whether you could get that with Kate Lethbridge Stewart in the picture. Because as I've said before, quite vocally, she just doesn't work for me as the leader of unit.
Yeah. Doug, are you going to try and watch this?
It's good to be back, by the way, Brendan. It feels like 5 minutes since we've spoken. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I have a dilemma. I like Dwayne. I've seen the trailer. It looks good. It looks like they've thrown some money at it. But is it worth me resubscribing to Disney Plus again for? I'm going to have to make some serious thoughts, I guess, and unless anyone can do a pirate copy for me. But to answer your question, I think it's got potential. But as we were discussing off air, it feels like Disney doesn't have a lot of confidence in it, though. So I don't know.
And if you're talking about Disney subscription, obviously I'm in a different position in Britain, but
Yeah,
remember, we will have seen it, talked about it. Any spoilers will be out there on the internet or discussed. And by the time you see it, because it's released
yeah,
on Disney in January, February. So the
that's
point of,
right. That's
you
right.
know,
Yeah,
that's a bit
Because
of a,
remember the main series, they were insisting that it went out at the time they wanted,
yeah,
and
that's exactly
even
right. Yeah,
it had to go out at iPlayer at midnight in the UK or something.
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's right. You all loved that, didn't you? Hey, you loved
Oh,
that.
yeah, we went mad about that in Britain.
I
So,
didn't have a
Dan,
problem with that. It was good.
I mean, Dan, I remember we discussed you saying I'm out now at the Disney subscription and all the rest of it. So this isn't going to drag you back in, is it?
No, I'll find a way to look at it at
I'll
some
find a
point.
way.
I'll look. I am interested in to see what they've. I've never understood the rationale for this spin-off.
No,
To
no.
to be honest, I don't understand. It sounds like a Doctor Who story. That I've got theories as to why you couldn't tell this story inside Doctor Who. If it's better than the main show, that's almost an indictment on the project in and of itself. Because why is your spin-off outperforming your actual show? I think
Yes.
your Doug's right though. I mean, it doesn't bode well for this show's been kicked all around the bloody schedules from the fan base's perspective because it's been coming this year. Then it was no, it's
Yeah.
coming next year. No, it's 2027. Now we're dropping it before Christmas. Okay.
The thing,
Um,
the thing I do not understand at all, and you can see from part of what you're saying, Dan, that they have had different ideas. And there's another different idea. It's 5 episodes long, but in Britain, they're going to show episode 1 and 2 back to back, episode 3 and 4 back to back. So why don't you just do 3 episodes? I don't understand that at all. If you've got 5 episodes, I thought they were probably going to land it Monday to Friday and do 1 week on terrestrial TV, and make it a event TV. But instead, they've done 2 double bills. The last time Doctor
Well,
Who did double bill, we had Space Babies and Devil's Card. That went down well.
Yeah, didn't it?
well, it makes sense because the episode titles for episode 1 and episode 2, when you put them together, Homo, Aqua, and the Plastic Apocalypse, it sounds like some kind of pop band, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
Well, this is what really triggered me, lads. Is right, okay? Because Dan, I heard what you said about 5 episodes, not part of the series, and all the rest of it. So this is Pete McTighe talking. So Russell had written this spin-off outline before the Star Beast. Actually, he'd written this first episode, and it was the most incredible, ambitious, exciting show I'd read. Right. Let's just look at the chronology, because this concerns me as a Doctor Who fan. You've got Disney money for 26 episodes. The first thing you do with that money is do a 5-episode outline for a spin-off that's got nothing to do with Doctor Who. That seriously concerns me about what the hell is going on. You are given the money, you are given the green light, you've got Bad Wolf Studios behind you, and you suddenly go, oh, what can I do that's not Doctor Who? What the hell is that about? And the second thing I want to say is, have you noticed what he says there? Russell T. Davies, when he was back at the helm, started writing a spin-off before even the Star Beast. And the Star Beast was a copy of somebody else's work. When does he start writing something new? This really shocked me.
Okay, here's a theory. Perhaps this was written in response to, well, we've all heard that that Doctor Who was dead in the water after the Power of the Doctor. It was due to be cancelled, and Russell came in to save it. So perhaps this was his initial idea to come in and presented that idea to the BBC. He may have said, well, if you're going to cancel Doctor Who, maybe I can do this as a single spin-off and run that through Bad Wolf Studios. I don't know. Perhaps that's why it was done first, because it was a pitch for something related to Doctor Who, but not Doctor Who. I don't know. That's just the first thing that came to my head.
It's an interesting question, isn't it, Dan? This
Before, if it was written before Starbase, that's pretty early on in the in the negotiations, and we know that things started to move very quickly all of a sudden once they had signed that Disney deal. So Dwayne's probably right. It's probably something that he had cooked up, or a treatment that he had sitting there ready to go. Then again, he could have just been fantasizing about some Silurian action, that he wanted to put to air outside of the show.
It starts to make me think that RTD, he's certainly no mug Doug. I think what he's doing here is
Mug Doug.
Yeah, Mug Doug. He looks very opportunistic. Put it this way: when you're a hunter, like a wolf or something, you see a wounded animal, and so the BBC are wounded after the Chibnall era. They're desperate. They want Doctor Who to continue. He appears as the great saviour, opportunistically as well. And as soon as he hears there's other people's money, not his own, by the way, he doesn't invest his own money, unlike independent film companies. He rides on the back of other people's checkbooks. And we can do Doctor Who. We've been talking to Disney, RTD, and we can do it with a budget. Are you in, RTD? Oh, am I? Hell, I've got so many ideas. I've got ideas for non-Doctor Who, other people's Doctor Who stories. I've got so many other people's stories. I'm ready to go. It just sounds opportunistic to me, Doug.
No, I think you're right. And it was a great impersonation of RTD, by the way. Spot on. I think you're right. And I think, it was brilliant. It was like he was in the room. He was in the room.
The line, I've got so many other people's stories.
What a good job interview.
Oh dear.
So
I agree.
Sorry, Doug.
I agree with everything you said. No, I agree with everything you
Sorry,
said.
I
And
know.
I think Dwayne's theory about it being a pitch was actually, I didn't think of that. I reckon that probably is what it was. Yeah.
It's possible, but the other thing that bothers, oh look, I'm sounding very bothered, Brendan, is that
You've been bothered for a whole week now,
Breathe.
Brendan. This is 2 shows now.
Come
You
on
must
now.
have been really hard to
Breathe
live with
in.
for the last week. Just calm down. You're getting me excited now. Just
This is
calm
it.
down. This is detox. This is detox. Remember.
this is I you know when he came up with the Ood, so he's got copyright for the Ood. He's got
Okay.
writers. The thing is, he's got Disney money, and you've got a potential 26 episodes. And what he's done is he's taken 5 away, and actually taken Malcolm Hulk's Sea Devils and turned them into Homo Aqua. So in other words, rebranding them under his ownership. I'm sure there's a copyright element here, and the 5 episodes are much more RTD and Pete McTighe than they are the BBC's and Doctor Who's, if you get my gist. I think there's some cleverness going on here. I really do, because he does own the Ode. He does. And so the Homo Aqua, who owns the Homo Aqua? Would it be RTD or would it be Malcolm Hulk?
That's interesting because no one's ever really called them sea devils except for people like us, have they? It's not. They've not been referred to by the name of sea devils in any of the publicity. So I think you're spot on there.
No, well, if you call them Homo Aqua, then they're not Malcolm Hulks, are they?
Exactly.
And that's probably a good thing.
Hey, true. Let's detach it from the original.
Yeah, so he continues. But anyway, I've got to stop being cynical, because Pete McTighe said it's an
No,
epic.
don't stop.
Yeah, it's a spectacular adventure show. By the way, if I hadn't said this as Pete McTighe, does this sound like RTD when he tells you about Doctor Who? He says
little
epic,
bit.
spectacular adventure show, but it's also a political thriller. Also, it's got a bit of everything, but it amounts to nought. It's got amazing cliffhangers. It's got romance. Yeah, do you know? I think all of us on this panel have been going, can you bring back the cliffhangers with Doctor Who? No. In
Yes,
2025,
please.
you can't do cliffhangers. They get their own bloody spin-off, cliffhangers. It's got romance and thrills and shocks and reveals. It's got it all, which is why it's so exciting that it's going out in December, because it's going to be a kind of sitting there for everyone to be able to binge over Christmas. It's going to be a hell of a ride, which also sounds like season 1, a cosmic joyride. They talk the same.
Let me guess what kind of romance that's going to be too.
Don't.
Homo sapien versus Homo Aqua.
It'll be a bit, it's going to be sloppy romance because there'll be fins involved.
Those scales get everywhere.
I know fins and blowholes. It's very problematic. This. So
It does worry me, because that would be the one thing that would probably make sense why it's not part of the actual Doctor Who show, is if there is that sort of stuff in it.
Like Torchwood.
I was going to say,
like
it feels like
Torchwood,
it feels like a sort of a diluted version of Torchwood. I even thought that. What was the one that went on for 5 days? That was the really good one.
Children of Earth.
Children of Earth.
Yeah, it had a Children of Earth vibe to it when I saw the trailer. So I reckon you're spot on.
The thing is, you've got Children of Earth. You had Miracle Day, which was less good.
I didn't like that.
I still think when you look at how he describes this 5-part epic, there's elements there that I would have wanted in Doctor Who. A political thriller like Deadly Assassin, yeah, bring it on. Cliffhangers, bring it on. Spectacular, bring it on. Getting people watching, as he says, over Christmas, an audience would be good. So basically, some elements I would like for Doctor Who. It worries me that how can they be the same person and say, we don't do cliffhangers in Doctor Who, that's so yesterday, and you dinosaurs need to get a life. And then the next minute they come up with their own show on the back of Doctor Who and other people's work. We were saying on our last stream, on the shoulders of giants. And then, of course, the cliffhangers are back.
Well, so much for the dinosaurs. They're doing a show about them. But the other thing's interesting, that they're kind of expecting no one to watch it when it drops. because it's going to be all there so you can binge it at Christmas.
Yeah.
But why? There's no expectation of, there's no anticipation
No,
of
it's
it
not an
dropping.
event, is it?
So,
No, it's not. There's no event
no,
TV vibe to it at all.
no. So they're kind of preempting that. Yeah, no one's going to watch it when it drops. So hopefully people will watch it over the break. Yeah.
Well, it's not like, I mean, Torchwood Children of Earth had the at least the notoriety of Torchwood at the time being, somewhat mainstream. The reality is, what is this spin-off? Doctor Who's not promoting this show, so people aren't going to probably any people that are anticipating this show are Doctor Who. But this show is not going to be able to do anything for Doctor Who because there's no Doctor Who to lean into after this thing airs. So, its whole purpose is kind of null and void. It's like, okay.
And did you see? Did you see? I mean, it was yesterday on something. There's a video clip of Russell T Davies about the war between the land and the sea, and he says, "No, when it's over, it's over. There's no prospect of it having a sequel. There's no prospect of it moving forward." So basically, I just don't understand when you come up with the 26 episodes to play with, that you go, right, what we'll do is we'll do a spin-off that's going to have no potential to go on after that. So I just ask, so what is the point when you should be trying to resurrect Doctor Who with those 26? I don't understand the strategy, which is why me and the Source have always said, who is asking the questions at Bad Wolf and the BBC? Who's got oversight of this? Clearly Disney didn't have enough oversight to have any influence. Because, look, I'm just some little pleb, but I don't understand the media strategy.
There's also no buzz about it whatsoever in fandom. Like, no one's really talking about it except to be cynical. There was talk early on about Russell Tovey potentially being another incarnation of the Master, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So, there was that kind of speculation. No one's speculating anything like that anymore. I bet you if he does turn into being the Master, it'll be, it'll be remembered then. But there just isn't anything like that anymore. So, like the usual stuff that fans do, nothing.
It would be appalling, though, wouldn't it? If that rumor about if he was the Master at the end, there is some shock in it. Russell Davies said you've got to watch the credits at one point because something is revealed, something comes out. So I don't know what that is, but you know how RTD talks. It's like, everything's amazing and all the rest of it. And I have to say, it tires you out. But if there was some sort of Doctor Who element, like the Master, that would be a disgrace, wouldn't it? Because it has to be done on the main show.
No, I'd rather it didn't. I'd rather it just detach itself away from Doctor Who altogether. But like you say, who's this aimed at? I mean, the fans don't really care, and the public probably don't even know. So what a horrible waste of money.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, do you trust? So you know how the Shooty era was meant to be a reboot, a whole new show kind of thing, and we're heading off into a bright new future 2 years ago, and basically all we got was everything was a rehash of a poorly done rehash of really old elements of Doctor Who from 40 years ago. And do you trust, or do you think these guys are capable of having these 5 specials not reference or not lean on Doctor Who at all? I mean, Pete's interview says that he says it isn't, and you don't need to do any homework. And it would make sense that that you do it as a proper standalone and not make references, because if there are references, most of the audience aren't going to get it anyway, because no one's really been watching the show the last few years.
He did say there's loads of Easter eggs, though, for us fans.
I saw that bit.
So there's a bit of anything. So it's an epic, lads. Get very excited. The next thing is a message. A lot of us fans like the Conrads get triggered by this, but this is what he said. What the show is about at its core is the fact that as a species, we have been ruining the oceans and the rivers and the climate. And this show poses questions about that. And that's kind of the exciting incident for the show, really. And then thousands of angry monsters turn up, which is always a good thing. Now, the way he's put it, I have to say, there's nothing wrong with, even if it was Doctor Who doing a climate thing. There's nothing wrong with that. The Ice Warriors did it. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's how it's executed, isn't it?
I agree with that it's okay to have a show about that. No problem.
Absolutely.
But the next line is the one I have an issue with, and this show poses questions about that. No, it won't. It'll be posing a one-sided opinion. It won't be posing any questions at all. It'll be you're right and you're wrong. That's how it's going to be. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and
There'll be nothing in between. No nuance whatsoever.
And do you know, you're onto something, and you might be onto something, Dwayne, why we've lost the audience, because those clever writers who had nuance, from Malcolm, Hulk, Robert Holmes, and all those, when you've lost that skill, what you've got is television talking at you. Now, if what you hear you like, you're there, you're a captive audience. But if you don't like the message, you know those people say, I'm not being lectured, and they clear off. It's too binary. But if you play with nuance, the whole potential audience is still in play.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even as conscious as people thinking, I don't want to be lectured to. It's people loving good stories and realizing subconsciously that it's not good. And they're just losing interest naturally, because as humans, we like good stories with nuance. I mean, they're just not there. So I think in a lot of cases, I reckon the bulk of the audience is gone because subconsciously they realize that Doctor Who isn't giving you stories, proper ones.
You know, centuries ago with puritanical writing, it was a very boring era of writing because it's effectively virtue signaling. So, in other words, it's it's preachy and moralizing writings that basically assume the position. The problem with the moral virtue signaling in the current day writing is exactly like it's like the equivalent religious tones of the puritanical writing, and that is that it assumes the position. And when you, as soon as you start to watch a show and those identities start to be revealed, you immediately, you don't actually, you can totally guess what the story's going to be, and then there's no interest, because you start to see it and you go, oh, plastic is bad. You know, these noble creatures below the sea that were here before us have a right to the earth, and you know, somehow we're the baddies. And you're going, okay, well, you know, do I really need to watch this show? Because I kind of know the way this is going to play out.
Because, in other words, it's like panto. Like you're saying, it's so predictable. It's like panto. It's a good point, Dan, because you want drama where you get a surprise, a revelation. It engages, it pulls you in because every character is rounded. But if they're just, like you say, panto characters and panto predictive, you know, obvious scripts.
Well, and look how good the Silurians is. The Brigadier shows up and nails the shit out of everyone.
Yeah. So we've got that element about the messaging, but it continues. I mean, an interspecies romance is an interesting one when you think of our debates nowadays, because Okay, I don't know quite where you would really truly go with that logically, but anyway, he tells us about Barclay. Now, this is the other thing about this predictable writing, Dan. He says that Barclay is an everyman. He's like an ordinary bloke. He works for unit, but he's not on the front line. He works in an office. He's not the top of the unit tower with Kate. He's on floor 6 doing booking in transport, doing office things. He's very ordinary. Yeah, well, this is it. He, he has an ex-wife. Oh, he's probably toxic, and a teenage child. It's just an everyday, ordinary bloke. How many times have we said that already? But then one day he's dragged forcibly into this extraordinary event that happens, and his life changes forever. And he goes on the most incredible journey, the most extreme journey, where, well, yeah, interspecies sex, where we meet him in episode 1 to where we leave him at the end. It's an incredible character journey for him. Now, this sounds like
That's a word salad that says absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
It won't work anyway. He's gay and she's an alien.
The other thing is, though, I really am, and I'm trying to be positive in many other ways, but this is Donna Noble 2. This is Ruby Sunday 2. This is, the obsession nowadays is somebody ordinary. So there's this being bright. Do you know what? In my last stream, I showed you that Pete McTighe called RTD a genius. So for some people, we're still looking for talent and skill. But every plot has to be about somebody bland and ordinary. And she's working in a shop and she's a bit bored with life and she likes chips. And suddenly look at episode series 1 that you, Dan, said, looked promising to a degree with the Empire of Death and everything. You think about it. Sutek, the destroyer of everything, couldn't cope with the fact that Ruby didn't know who a man was. Who gives a bloody stuff?
You know what worried me with this is that this was it sounded like this could be like a 50-year-old sequel to Silurians, where Kate's forced to deal with the fallout from the Brigadiers to attack the Silurians, and I was putting money on in this show that at some point she's going to have to apologize for her dad's actions. The only thing that would make that interesting, in my view, is if that is something that occurs, instead of apologizing for it, that the whole show ends up going a full 360 where she tries to do all the progressive things and tries all the virtue signaling, and then she comes full 360 and realizes there's no other option, and that she's got to go the way of the Brigadier, and that her dad was right all along. That would be worth watching.
That would be interesting, yeah.
It would be, but it's not going to happen. You know that.
It's not going to happen. No, not going to happen at all.
That would require good writing.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm not sure I want revisionism of the old characters and people will go mad. Anyway, by the way, this is what he says about Kate Stewart. So I've just jumped it on since you were talking about it. She has an incredible journey in the war between the land and the sea. She goes through some crazy and devastating events, and Gemma is phenomenal. So Dwayne, you're in there. Devastating events. Now, what you just said, Dan, would devastate her if the Brigadier was revised, as in he'd done wrong.
Yeah.
But this is not the story I want.
Well, if done well, it could be a fantastic story. If done poorly, it would be horrendous, especially if they failed to execute. And let's face it, the last 2 years of these two have not proven that they can execute stuff.
But it worries me that
satisfactory.
Dwayne has
Absolutely.
got. Dwayne does events with Sirens of Audio. Sirens of Audio do podcasts to do with Doctor Who. They are dyed in the wool Doctor Who fans. Yet Dwayne, what you're seeing said there is not going to appeal to you if that's what it's about.
Nothing's being said there. It's just a whole heap of descriptive, incredible journey, crazy and devastating events. Gemma is just phenomenal. Well, the last statement is false. There's no nuance in that. But there's nothing there. There's nothing there for me to latch onto. But that's okay because I'm not the target audience. That's a
Who is
buzzword
though?
too these days.
Yeah. Speaking of buzzwords, I'm so sick of people telling about their journeys. Please stop going on journeys, but guys, give me a break.
I'll tell you about my.
I'm going on a journey to the toilet and I'm coming back. That's my journey. This is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
We'll see if I can interest you a little bit more with Salt.
Okay.
She's not a sea devil. It was made clear, right? Salt is a proud, noble representative of the world under the ocean, and it is a world. She is a Homo amphibia. So she is a race of creatures that live under the sea that are very closely related to Homo Aqua, who are the traditional sea devils. But she is a slightly different species. Yay! Are you up for this?
No.
Why?
That's the first I've heard of that. I wasn't sure whether she was a sea devil or not, but yeah, that makes sense because she looks a little different to the other sea devils that we've seen images of. So yes, I can see that, but
We had been.
I'm not interested in the cross species romance. No, not interested.
Well, that put me off from the start because you don't have to be a genius to work out. I mean, even with all the makeup, she's very attractive. So obviously there's going to be something happening because they've made her attractive.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about telegraphing your intentions.
It's very weird. They've got an attractive actress and they've covered in as much plastic as possible, and it's going to be an anti-plastic storyline. I'm fascinated. But
Yes.
the other thing, I mean, why don't they just get an ugly actress? Because you're covering her with so much crap, which you're
Yeah.
now telling
It
us
just
is
looks like this show's going to be full of homos. I know that.
yeah, yay, representation.
Whoa!
Oh God! Basically, every plot's the same. It's Homo plotus. That's what's going on here. What concerns me? I mentioned the strategy and the chronology, and I've asked lots of questions. Then my next question is: you get 5 episodes. You decide to do a spin-off like the Marvel Universe. Da 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 da. Why bother with the sea devils if you're going to come up with new species like Homo amphibia? You could have the Atlanteans. You could have other things that are under the water that we've not seen in Doctor Who. Why do you even need to touch the sea devils? I'm very doubtful why they need to do that and then change them. And by God, I've got a slide coming up in a minute about why they're redesigning the sea devils. But why bother? I mean, come on, lads. We've watched so much Doctor Who over 62 years. They could just come up with a new species underwater and tell the same story.
Well, I think that's what
Why
that
bring
is.
Omega back and change him completely as well? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a mystery. I don't understand that. Why bring Sutek back and change him completely from what he was into something else?
Yeah.
You'd have to take that question and put it to them. It's something I can't answer. That's for sure.
One thing I wanted to ask Doug, because on your channel, Doug, the Man from Uncle and stuff like that, when you look at 60s TV and story writing and plots, some people would say we're very nostalgic and we're always looking backwards. When you do watch Man from Uncle and stuff like that, do you think we're missing a trick and there's plots out there and there's a way of story writing out there that would appeal to people today?
Yeah, if it comes from the right source. I mean, the Man from Uncle stuff, this is not a Man from Uncle show. The audience that I have, 99% of them are guys my age, and it's all about reconnecting with your childhood and an emotional thing. So to answer your question, if the writers were smart, that's what they should be doing. They should be getting some sort of emotional impetus from long-term fans. And remember, most fans were introduced to Doctor Who either by their parents or introduce their kids to Doctor Who. So it's a generational thing. So they've missed a trick totally. There's none of that in the writing at all. There's no warmth. There's no emotion. There's no love for the source material.
Can I just take you back to a quotation? I think it was around 2004-5. RTD, when remember he did bring back Doctor Who successfully then, so I'm giving him credit there. But he did say in that package and pitch to the BBC then, he said, we're not going to do any adventures with people from the planet Zog doing this, that, and the other because that doesn't appeal to the audience, right?
I remember that. Yeah.
So why have we now got this subterranean world where there's going to be lots of different political stratas of different Homo amphibia, Homo aqua, this, that, and the other? Is that going to appeal to the audience who are going, oh God, this is a load of baloney? You've got
No.
it sounds a little bit niche, like the planet Zog that he said he'd never do. Sounds like RTD's changed his mind, or he doesn't listen to himself.
Well, the
He also
traditional
said
story.
that the Daleks are classic design, and the things related to the Daleks are classic. It's something you should never ever change under any circumstances.
He
So he
did
comes
say
back
that.
and changes Davros.
Yeah. Dan, you were going to come in there as well.
Sorry, Dan.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
You forgot, didn't you?
It must have been a good one. I mean,
Well, thank you for that. That must have been really good. This is actually what the
Yeah.
Sea Devils are. Homo aqua there. That's not the Homo amphibia. So this is what my concern. So let's see what he said about the Sea Devils. I'll make it bigger because he has a lot to say. The Sea Devils have had a little bit of a makeover, a little bit of AI. What is it like? So he's asked the question by the drag queen. What is it like being part of like the redesign of a classic sort of Doctor Who character? And what have you kept from the past and brought into the present? Oh, it's been great fun, says Pete McTighe, to be able to sit in meetings and talk about Sea Devils for 3 hours. It's the best. The redesign was done by Paint in Practice, which is a digital art company based at Bad Wolf, and they're led by Joel Collins, our executive producer, who produced these amazing kind of concept art designs, which you'll hopefully get to see sometime, of the new Homo Aqua. And they looked incredible. And then Millennium Effects then fabricated those suits. Then from the original design, we wanted to keep... Russell was really particular about wanting to keep the fins and the beak, because they're kind of iconic factors of that monster. So they were the main things we kept. Do you know what? No, Russell, no. I will give credit to Chris Chibnall. The Sea Devils in The Legend of the Sea Devils was spot on. That
Yeah, it
mask
was good.
was amazing. Why?
Very good design.
It's been designed. I'm sorry, lads. Am I being unfair? Why do
No.
they need redesigning at all?
it's a bit hard for people to do it in those Sea Devil costumes, though, Brendan. I think that's the primary reason.
Yeah. That's the reason. It's hard for people to do it.
It's going to look a bit clumsy.
I'm gonna have to get Garbage to do some AI with
You should, yeah.
two Sea Devils getting it on.
Yeah, harder to do it, yeah.
Lots of fishnet in between.
Yeah.
but no,
New
I mean,
character, Mr. It's a Finn.
Yeah, that's the other main character, Finn.
I mean,
Even just the name Salt, it's like, yeah.
oh,
okay.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Not-
Right,
yeah, I
okay, I'm
know.
gonna go down the panel
Salt,
and
salt of the earth, see?
Oh,
Salt of the
very
earth.
good. Very good.
See,
Right.
this story. I was thinking it was going to be like the Goodies episode where they had they've got oil tankers putting oil in the sea, and then people throwing fish chips, but cut up potatoes, and then they're going to light it, and then they're going to have fish and chips.
So I mean, I've already said the question about, well, why do the Sea Devils when you're going to do something new? But I'm going to go down the panel now and just ask you, when you think of the Sea Devils as a Doctor Who fan, now Russell T Davies says it's the fin and it's the beak that we need to keep. I thought just keep the bloody monster. Dwayne, first, what do you think we need to keep about the essence of the Sea Devil to make this work?
I think you're right. It was Chibnall did quite quite a few things right, believe it or not, and that was one of them. The Sea Devils was one of them. The story was absolute nonsense and rubbish,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it
but the
was.
design was fantastic, and I liked the way they spoke, and the face looked good. Just like the Cybermen designs that he did were good too. I enjoyed those. So you need to keep the basic essence of what they were in the Sea Devils. Even Warriors of the Deep, they moved a little bit different, but they were similar to the original ones. So yeah, you definitely need to keep that original design in full. They're all sort of there like men in masks now, whereas before they were more enclosed and a bit more. I mean, obviously they were men in masks back then, but
They were
they weren't
real.
so humanoid. They weren't so humanoid. They were
No.
more they were more reptilian. They've made them just more human now.
Yeah, because obviously the director of the Sea Devils, who I was at the convention with a few months ago, and I've forgotten his name. I keep forgetting
Michael
Michael.
Bryant.
Yeah, Michael Bryant. He was saying how he's got a naval past, and he said, "I wanted a sea turtle. It was a sea turtle I wanted." Now, um, great trigger. John Friedlander goes away and does something absolute a masterpiece. Why do you want to retouch masterpieces? You don't go to the Mona Lisa and give it a touch-up job. I don't understand this concept by these people when they could just come up with new stuff. But I was going to ask you. I was going to go down the panel. So, Doug, what to make this a success? What do they need to keep of the Sea Devils?
Well, boringly, I'm agreeing with everything Dwayne just said. Be faithful, at least be faithful to the original, if not copying it exactly. They've just kind of tried to reinvent the wheel, haven't they? And obviously, the main lady who has been humanised. I know she's not a sea devil, but that's obviously because there's going to be some sort of a romance. I think they just shouldn't have. I'm really torn. They probably shouldn't have bothered even doing this. But on the other hand, as we discussed off air, the show looks good. They've thrown some money at it, so I'm curious about it. But I feel like they're not going to get an audience because it's not going to appeal to we fans. And as I said earlier, the public don't seem to know about it. So it's going to be a horrible waste of money unless they pull a rabbit out of a hat. I'm going to be interested to see what happens. I really am.
The more you put it like that, Doug, it sounds even worse because basically it's a one-off special of 5 episodes that'll never be done again and has no prospect of a sequel.
Yeah, maybe it's a tax write-off or something. I've got no idea why they did it.
If it looks expensive, why couldn't we have had that money in the main series? Why couldn't have the two seasons been longer? Blah, 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 blah. You think, this is madness. Dan, same question to you. I mean, what do they need to keep of the Sea Devils to make it a success?
Look, to be honest, I'm not sure that they need to keep much. I'm quite numb when it comes to the Sea Devils after Legend of the Sea Devils.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is we're talking about stuff that the majority of the audience won't have seen in the last 50 years. Because the reality is, even almost no one showed up for Legend of the Sea Devils.
No, it was very low rated.
And I just don't think this isn't. I can compartmentalize this. It's even less relevant because it's not part of the main show.
Right. Okay, then I'll throw this spanner into the works based on what you've just said, Dan, but to all of you. Right. The BBC, in their wisdom, have decided to hire Benjamin Cook to do an edit of the and make an omnibus of the Sea Devils 6 parts. And you know from the previous 2, and you know that I went to the convention where in front of me Benjamin Cook said that he was under instructions to make everything look like New Who. So you'll have Marquez involved, it'll have been touched up, blah blah blah. So the omnibus 90-minute special, where's the wisdom in this? That they're now going to show just before the double bill of the new version of the Sea Devils, the old Sea Devils. So you say, Dan, you want to compartmentalize. How the hell does a general viewer do that when on the same channel you're going to see the old Sea Devils and then you're going to see the new Sea Devils? And I have to say, everybody in the room is going to go, oh, I like them previous ones. Where's the wisdom in that?
I'm curious to know what. It's interesting because if this is five episodes, the new one, I thought modern audiences didn't have the attention spans for 5 episodes, and you had to edit the original down to 90 minutes to get
Yeah,
people
that's
to watch
true.
it. It's an interesting turn of events, but I don't know. I don't know that this is going to attract a whole lot of attention.
Seems to me, Dwayne, everything I seem to be saying is everything seems to be inconsistent in what they're doing.
Why are they getting Benjamin Cook to do it when they've got an omnibus version done by Pete McTighe?
Yeah, what the hell?
Or did he do the one on the season 9 video? I can't remember, but there is an omnibus edition there.
But there is a
Why not
version, yeah.
use
Yeah,
that?
there was an omnibus made in the 70s that was agreed to, Malcolm Hulke and Barry Letts agreed to that omnibus. They agreed to that edit. The people who
The
made
feed,
the bloody program.
the feedback from a lot of fans on, like, I've got my issues with the War Games, but I think the War Games was a very tough one to edit anyway. And I think considering what they had to cut down, it was done reasonably well. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy
Yeah.
the music. I enjoyed the redone music for the War Games myself personally.
Yeah, I do too.
I just did the most irritating thing for me is I just watched it recently, bits of it. Is the flash forward of all the future Doctors that really irritated me. Even more so than the Master, which was the War Chief, being the Master, which was irritating as well. But yeah, the Daleks in particular was just an awful, awful edit. It's just it's almost unwatchable. I watch the first half of that because
Yeah.
I enjoy the color.
Yeah.
Outside of it, I always enjoy the color. But the edit itself is just, and the music is dreadful. So why do that again with Benjamin Cook? It's almost like Jobs for the Boys.
It's going to be
If you ask
interesting.
me.
It's going to be interesting what they do with the radiophonic workshop, Sea Devils bit. Now Marquez, I mean, and I'm not.
Marquez is pretty good. He's
Yes,
pretty
he
good.
is.
He's a long time fan and he knows
Yeah.
what he's doing. One thing that he did was he incorporated the Tristram Carey soundtrack into Destiny of the Daleks, and if you select that when you're watching the Blu-ray version, it sounds awesome. Yeah, you wouldn't think a combination of Dudley Simpson, well, not that Dudley's on that one much, but a bit of Dudley and Tristram Carey stuff in the background was really good. So
Yeah.
he does have a good ear, but sometimes he's under instructions to do things too. Like the Daleks' music was awful. He was just instructed to make it that way.
Yeah. Well, plot-wise, he was asked about this egg, and you've seen it in the trailer. There's this egg that they unzip. They can see. There was an egg-shaped thing here, and so on the Hooniverse show, they had the prop. We spent ages on the design for that, he said. I can't really tell you what it is. It's an egg-shaped thing. But you will see it in episode 1, and it's kind of a pivotal point of the story. I've got it now. I think we've had stunt ones because there's a sequence where it's kind of dropped. So we had stunt ones, and then we had the proper ones. So just as though, since this is just on the eve of the spin-off being shown, so this egg is pivotal, lads. Now, is it a bomb? Is it I don't know. I'm trying to think what could be pivotal about this egg-shaped thing from Homo Aqua, Homo Amphibia.
Well, if it's a bomb, I guess you'd have to watch out for the shell.
Yeah. I mean, oh no. I'm just thinking because they drop litter everywhere, don't they? They're like the Wombles in reverse. To punish humanity, you see it in the trailer. They put litter everywhere, so they're the worst case of people dumping their waste everywhere. Proves the point.
So is it an egg in the true sense? It's an egg, or
It
is it
looks
like
like an egg. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's going to be part human. Maybe it's going to be the reason that the two leads get together, and they'll have a part human, part sea person baby, and it'll save the world or something.
I tell you what, it would be frightening if we got to that point, because of course that's another message in itself, which is
Yeah, I know.
we're not all different races and species and all the rest of it. We're all one, and if we all
One
think
big
the
melting
same,
pot. Yep.
yes, that one child who's multi-species will just say, "Mommy, Daddy,
Same.
can I?" Yeah, I know. Oh God, Dan, you're banned from going near this script. Not Dan, Doug. I'm done and Dan and Doug and Dag and Drake and Drake.
That's all right. I'm Doug the Mug.
Do you know you
I
three?
like the way they.
Sorry, I feel as though it said Donald Duck's nephews. Are it? It's like Doug,
Huey, Dewey, and
Dwayne.
Louie.
Sorry, Dwayne. Sorry.
I like the way it says we spent ages on the design for an egg-shaped thing. I would have thought they'd just look at an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or get the old
Or-
eggs from Twin Dilemma.
Or the eggs that Pete McTighe did in the season Blu-ray trailer thing with the two girls in the cave.
Yeah, yeah. We remember it well. That great little moment. So there you go. So there's an egg thin everybody to look forward to tomorrow. We've already mentioned Kate's on a journey. There's some great. There's a new composer. There's a little special, little additional music treat at the end of episode 5. I can't tell you what it is yet, but you'll know it when you hear it. Oh yeah. So
There's always a twist in the end.
It's not going to be a song and dance number, is it, or something like that?
And they've put the
please
Masters
no.
team in.
yeah, yes. If it was, I have to say, yeah, you have to unravel the dots. So, what would it be? A lovely touch of radiophonic music from the original Sea Devils that they've kind of tarted up. I don't know.
Maybe.
But the master, yeah, the master theme is quite short from the 70s, and you think, yeah, it's okay. Is there still a rumor out there? I don't know. I still don't know why you do make these 5 episodes so separate from Doctor Who, unless there is a link. And I think there was a rumor or a leak that season 3 originally Doctor Who would have the Daleks in and the Master in.
Okay.
So, you do wonder whether. So RTD says you've got to watch the credits. There's going to be more reveal. He tells you about the music. So there you go, lads.
I'll wait for the clip on YouTube.
You must be getting so excited. I've got you salivating over this. I can tell. I mean, this is really.
Oh, yeah, I'm juiced up. Man.
Oh, come on.
Okay, I'll ask you everyone this question then. So the spin-off is as it looks. So Dwayne, if you were in charge, never mind Pete McTighe, and you had 5 episodes, but it has to be separate from Doctor Who, but from the Doctor Who universe, what would your spin-off focus on?
I'd do the Daleks if they could get the rights. I mean, you guys
Get the rights. Easy.
You guys are too young to remember, but back in the day, that I think it was TV 21 had a Daleks comic strip that was incredibly popular. The Doctor didn't appear in it at all.
Yeah.
They could easily do something on the Daleks. Absolutely. Make it scary. Make them the ominous creatures that they were in the beginning, and also everybody that knows about Doctor Who knows the Daleks. It would actually be a no-brainer. It would be successful if it was done right. It would be really good. That's what I would do.
The only spin-off I would do, because I think you only do spin-offs if the main series is successful. They've gone the wrong way, and as I showed you today, they've actually planned a spin-off before they even started writing the first Doctor Who story. So this is cart before horse. But what I will say is, if you were going to do a spin-off, the only one I would countenance at the moment, because I don't like dilution of Doctor Who, is I think this is a good reason why you could have season 3 being made with whoever, and a spin-off series with an old Doctor.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's my dream is a 8th Doctor miniseries.
Are we still suggesting McGann?
We're still suggesting McGann. It'll
yeah.
never happen, but my God, it's a no-brainer. And again, the public know him. So you'd get the fans happy, the public would be happy. It wouldn't have to be big budget. That would be a dream, but it's not going to happen.
You got lots of Big Finish stories you could put to screen.
Absolutely. And he still looks good. I mean, he hasn't aged. So he's perfect.
So that I mean, I can consider a spin-off when you've still got Peter Davison, you've still got McCoy, you could have, and it does have possibilities, and it has got legs because unlike this spin-off, you could have, if it was successful with Paul McGann as a separate entity, you
Yeah,
then
totally separate.
like Tales of the TARDIS, you have then the adventures of Peter Davison again, then McCoy, Colin Baker. There's so many possibilities. Matt Smith, if you could get him back for 5 episodes. Do you know what I mean? Capaldi.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I know that the danger is, well, the main show better be bloody good. Well, wouldn't that be good competition then?
Yeah.
So that's my only version. Dan, what are you thinking regarding spin-off focus?
Look, I agree. I would have liked to have seen a Chronicles series where, even if they, like you were saying, if it wasn't just the Eighth Doctor, I would have liked to have seen an Eighth Doctor miniseries, just so that we could finally, give Paul McGann deserves a decent series.
Oh, does he ever?
He'd
do it too. He would do it.
Yeah, I mean, but even in Night of the Doctor, man, like it was so good seeing him in that, and it wasn't even a proper televised.
Imagine an hour of that. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's even, there's a little part of me, I really enjoyed John Hurt, but there was a little part of me that's like, geez, I would have liked to have seen McGann on in that special.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I thought. I mean, obviously they wanted Christopher Eccleston, but McGann would have been a perfect choice. And technically, he was kind of involved in the Time War, so they could have done the same story.
Look, I also think I would have liked something like a Gallifrey Rising Chronicles series that's like not Doctor Who at all, but something off in the distant past that is literally, chronicling early days of Gallifrey somewhere. Not to mess around with. I guess just to set it in a galaxy far, far away with a powerful, interesting species that has some interesting technology and things. There's a lot of things there that you could play with in terms of, and stay a million miles away from the Doctor Who.
I'm just amazed when we got all that bi-generation nonsense and Rtd'S explanation of it. He kind of teed up the fact that you could see other Doctors in parallel universe. I thought that's what he was doing. I didn't realize he was just talking out of his backside. I thought he was actually teeing up a spin-off where you saw Peter Davison for 5 episodes, because it's just a parallel timeline. This is such a unique format and show that you could do that and get away with it so easily.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you can have the $6 million man and the Bionic Woman, they're in the same universe, and that was doable. You had Dallas and Knots Landing. You can do this. I actually don't know why you can't have just a mini series, and because some of the actors are older and actually busier, you could just have them for 2 or 3 episodes, and it would be a lovely. It wouldn't just be nostalgia; it would be spectacular. And actually, you could stylistically make it look cheaper, but. You know what I mean? I don't mean it has to look cheaper, but like the Adventure in Time and Space was just, it looked fab. And it had an element of that nostalgic quality to it. I think it would be a runner.
I do agree that, I watch kids, kids can game. It's funny, we've spent our whole lives sort of wanting to improve the graphics and improve computer games and things. And yet what I've noticed is that the younger generations actually like a lot of the stuff that we had in terms of retro. There's an interest there for it, and they don't need the graphics. They don't need the effects. You need it to reach a certain level, so that it doesn't take you out of the story, but you don't really need. I don't think there's much money spent on the effects as they have, and I actually think it would be good to have a show where people lean in and do the best job they can with practical effects, just for the challenge of it.
Unfortunately, he can't get in. Isn't that interesting? Very interesting.
Well,
not spend the money on it.
Well, there you go. I mean, I have to say, we originally had, I just seem to call it the Doctor Who Detox Hour. And we used to joke saying it was never an hour long. But we've actually just done two Doctor Who Detox Hours, funnily enough, so to speak.
Wow.
But lads, thanks for that. I mean, let's see if it comes to fruition, all that we've said about this spin off. I am watching it. There will be reviews on my channel. Disparu will be on as well. But my God, I'm not too sure how it's going to be executed, as we've been saying today.
Despite my lack of any excitement or anticipation for this series, the thing I do love about it being on is channels like the Sandsphere and Disparu. I always look forward to Disparu's reviews of everything now. So that would be my disappointment if Doctor Who was gone forever. I wouldn't get any more Disparu reviews, which is what's been keeping me entertained for the last few years.
Yeah. Well, while you've quite rightly bigged up Disparu because he's top quality. What about your own channel, Sirens of Audio? What are you up to?
Well, as I said when I was on last time, taking a break for until the new year. So we won't be putting up any new content between now and then. But most recently, we had Stephen Noonan, who plays the First Doctor for Big Finish, with us. He did a trivia quiz, which was great. Prior to that, we had Mark Strickson as our guest, which has been really well received by our audience. And prior to that, we had Brian Hodgson, who did the special sound for Doctor Who between 1963 and 1972. So he was fascinating to talk to as well. Yeah. And of course, we've got, as you've already mentioned, we've got Louise Jameson coming up in March in Sydney, Melbourne, and Tasmania. She's coming down here.
Oh, lovely.
Awesome.
Lovely. She's one of those I've not met yet. I really, there's loads of great people in Doctor Who, but for some reason I'd love to hear Louise Jameson. I like her. I just, you know what I mean? I just something about. She's also extremely talented. What she did with Leela was amazing. She was adding so much. So, Man from Uncle, what's your T-shirt say? Spy Guy.
Spy Guy. That's it was Boomer Doug, but I've changed it to Spies, and it's working. There's a lot more interest. Basically, every Wednesday. I do a review and show some clips of classic spy movies or TV. I've got them uploaded up until the new year. I'm taking a break from The Man from Uncle, but I'm dropping a Christmas episode at Christmas. Uncle's doing really well. I think I've just hit 7,000 subscribers, so there's a lot of boomers out there. But yeah, that's me. Most of it's happening around Christmas and the new year.
Cool. Well, thank you all for coming on. Dan, have you started the channel yet?
Are you going to?
No, you'll only find me on the send in people's chats stirring the pot.
I thought
staring through their windows.
I honestly, truly thought that Dan might start a channel called Peladon Tales or something. You know, I thought he might.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good.
That would be maybe when AI comes, it reaches a new level.
I tell you what, I would go mad if Dan started a channel and he had puppets in it, since he's gone mad about my puppets.
Just for you. Just for you, Dan.
Monster of Peladon. How can anyone knock that? This is how Shooty talked. How can true fans have a problem with Monster of Peladon?
Before we go... No, go on.
No, I was just going to say it's better than anything I've seen recently.
Well, I was going to say two things. First, I think Dan should have a reaction channel. I'd watch it. And these last two shows, we didn't do the week's ups and downs. I've got to share this with you. This is my childhood. I paid way too much for this. It was a 1966 annual, and it has William Hartnell.
Wow!
And I'm really enjoying this.
Stay there. Hold on. Go on.
Okay. There we go. Got it.
Yeah.
It's William Hartnell from the 1960s. And the weird thing was, it must have been a contractual thing, his two companions, the two little kids called, I think, Jack and Gillian, or John and Gillian or something. They were nothing to do with the TV show. Very weird. But this took me back to my happy place. So that was my up for the week. So I'm done now.
I'll get them all in. We've been quite kind of woohoo, but it's been great to get you all chatting again. And it might be at a different time and all the rest of it, but it's been great to have you on, lads.
No, it's good. I like this.
This
So
is
thank you.
my
Oh, let's have a look. He's got
Oh,
his
that's
special
it
weapons
didn't show
down.
and tell now. This is good. And we can edit out all the boring bits too, which is good. I've got to get one of those. I reckon it's the best Dalek ever.
Yeah, the only thing
really
is,
is.
I realised how's the poor guy do anything? He's got no hand.
This
And
is like the last.
Why aren't all the Daleks like this?
Why is this turning into the last day at school when you bring your games in? And
I don't know. What else have I got? What else have I got? No, I can't. I'll have to get up.
Oh well, so thanks everybody. I'm gonna go and play with my pillow now.
Play with your pillow. I'm going to read
Yeah,
my
I'm
book.
gonna. So
Do you know
anyway,
how much that pillar is? I tried to buy that pillar
I know.
with the alien. It's
A real one would be cheaper, wouldn't it? I mean, they're
Mate, it's
incredibly expensive.
$172 down here
Oh,
to get it delivered
get
down
out
in
of here.
Australia. I was like,
And I've got one.
holy moly.
I've got one already, all of my own. Actually,
As much
if
as I
you
wanted an
roll-
Anthony Ainley, I can't justify that kind of money.
I'm going to do a niche
No.
series. What kookery can you do with implements from Doctor Who? So here's the
Does it
first one:
open?
a rolling pin.
Good roller.
Okay. Well, what else? What else then? You're doing a whole
Does the
series.
pillar-
What else can you
yeah.
use?
It's going to be a really top-notch series.
Yeah,
Does
it's going to
the
be a
pillar-
short one, I think.
Does your pillar actually open? Can you open
and
the
then
door on the pillar?
and what
Yeah,
can
does
you do-
the pillar work? Can you open the pillar like a TARDIS, or is it just
No,
a
you
lump
just-
of plastic?
You just sleep with it. There you go. It's just,
Oh, you just fondle it.
yeah, you just want yeah. And then
Put a bit of lube on it, it'll be fine.
But the second show of this short series will be what to do with the tissue compression eliminator, and I'll leave your thoughts there. Goodbye, everybody.
Okay.
Good night.
See
See
ya.
ya.